Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel Filmy Recaps. Today I'm going to explain 3 Days to Kill movie. Spoilers ahead. And please subscribe the channel. The movie opens at the CIA headquarters in Langley, Virginia. Agent Vivi DeLay meets with the CIA director and another man to talk about their target, Wolfgang Braun, aka the Wolf. The man is attempting to promote arms to terrorists alongside with his associate, the Albino. The men assign Vivi to take each of them down. She asks them which agent they have on the ground. His name is Ethan Renner. We meet Ethan in a resort in Paris where he and some other agent, Yasmin, are set to take down the Albino, set to make a deal with Serbians. Ethan has already killed the buyers, and he makes a quick and swift change with the Albino as he swaps briefcases containing secret codes. He goes to hand them over to other dealers in a van, when his phone rings to remind him it's his daughter Zoe's birthday. He runs to make a name on a payphone and uses his watch as collateral with a close-by vendor to get change. He calls Zoe, however gets her voicemail. In the hotel, Yasmin's identification is compromised when the Albino recognizes her. He drags her to an elevator and waits till it comes down so it decapitates her. His cohorts shoot at the retailers in the van, leading to a gunfight from the foyer to outside the hotel. Ethan runs after the Albino and kills his guys before chasing the villain. Ethan starts off evolved, getting weak and groggy till he catches up to the Albino. He falls to the ground earlier than shooting the Albino in the foot. He limps away as Ethan loses consciousness. Ethan wakes up in the health center to a doctor who tells him that he has most cancers and it's spread to his lungs. He offers Ethan about 3 to 5 months left. Ethan returns to his apartment to locate that there's a family residing there. The patriarch, Jules, warmly welcomes Ethan back, telling him they are refugees seeking a new region to live. He goes to complain about it, however is told that if he forces the household out, he can get arrested. Ethan goes back and takes out his gun in the front of Jules, but then relents and says he can remain until his eldest daughter offers birth to her child. Ethan calls his ex-wife Tina as she's assembly up with friends. She is hesitant to meet with him until he says it's pressing that they get together. They go together to signal his will and he tells her that he is dying and he doesn't choose Zoe to know. He wants to meet up with her, and Tina tells him solely on the condition that he is formally done working for them. Ethan says yes. The two of them go meet Zoe at her school. Her reunion with her father is awkward and she looks less than involved in talking to him. A good-looking older boy comes over to Zoe, and she introduces him as Hugh. He is polite to Ethan when she introduces them, even though he is understandably on the fence about it. Hugh leaves and Ethan presents Zoe with a crimson bike, thinking that is nevertheless her favorite color. She opts to take the metro with her friends, leaving Ethan to experience the bike himself. Ethan stops at a stand and is met by Vivi. She drops Zoe's identifier and shows him his watch that he left via the hotel. She gets him to journey with her, telling him to work for her. He refuses until she says she has an experimental drug that can keep his life. Ethan reconsiders, and Vivi tells him the job is to find the wolf and kill him. Vivi takes Ethan to a motel to find a man that can supply them the whereabouts of the Albino's accountant. She tells Ethan there's only one man in there, but after he busts into the room of their target, he finds 5 guys. He and Vivi end up killing all of them when no person gives them any info. In the elevator, Ethan tells her he will solely continue the challenge if he is given 50 grand and a $1 million life insurance plan policy. She complies and gives him a shot of the drug. We see the Albino assembly up with a man. He gives this man a picture of Ethan to keep on him. Ethan goes to Zoe and Tina's condominium and hears Zoe scream. Thinking she's in danger, he breaks the doorknob and busts in, only to discover that she is upset over a bad hairdo. Tina is mad at Ethan on account that he earlier promised to cook dinner, yet he is 3 hours late. She is heading to London a subsequent day on business and decides to name a sitter to look after Zoe, however Ethan insists that she let him take care of her. Later, Ethan starts to experience dizzy and he faints. He calls Vivi and tells her he's hallucinating. She tells him to drink vodka to ease himself. He does just that. Tina leaves the subsequent day, and Zoe comes in wearing a wig with a color of red. She sees Vivi calling Ethan's phone, so he tells her it's her boss. She puts "I don't care" by Icona Pop as Ethan's ringtone for whenever she calls. Ethan as soon as again tries to get Zoe to journey the bike to school, but she walks and drops the wig. Ethan meets with Vivi again. She offers him the check she promised him and reminds him to hold his heart price low. She has Ethan go look for an auto salesman named Matat Yilmaz. Ethan goes to the dealership, insults Matat's employees and knocks them out, then waits in Matat's workplace until he returns. Ethan threatens Matat's household and takes him back to the apartment, till he gets a name from Zoe's school, urging him to go speak to the principal. He takes Matat with him and stuffs him in the trunk. Ethan and Zoe meet with the principal. He learns that Zoe hit any other classmate. He asks, open palm or clenched fist? As they leave, Zoe tells Ethan it was due to the fact the girl she hit used to be teasing a girl from Pakistan. Ethan says he's no longer mad and tells her it's an effective way to get rid of a bully. Matat begins making a fuss in the trunk, forcing Ethan to go punch him and tell him to shut up. Zoe leaves him, agitated by using his behavior and his regular coughing. However, she later calls him back to make an apology and asks him to meet her at her favorite spot, a little theme park. The place her favorite trip is the flying chairs. Although Ethan initially goes to proceed his search for the accountant, he leaves to meet with Zoe. They go on the ride and have warm chocolate after. She tells him she has to go and study with her lab partner. Ethan goes to a shop and is attacked by a man wielding a shotgun. He blasts Ethan. However, he rises unharmed. He was once most likely sporting a vest, and the two of them fight. The man nearly kills Ethan via stabbing him in the neck, but the man is shot and he dies. Ethan then notices the man used to be holding a picture of Ethan himself. Ethan goes domestic to see on Zoe's computer a message from a buddy saying she'll meet her at the tattoo gallery. Concerned, Ethan rushes to this location and finds a car with Zoe's bag. He breaks into it and finds a flyer from an area called Spider. He goes to Matat's residence and asks the man's twin daughters what Spider is. They tell him it's a soiree house. Ethan goes to Spider, a nighttime club, and sees Zoe drinking with friends. He starts evolved getting dizzy again, and has a swig of vodka to ease up. He follows Zoe near the restroom and sees three guys harassing her. Ethan is held back with the aid of a friend of the boys, however he gets into Papa Wolf mode and kicks all their asses earlier than getting Zoe out of there. Zoe wakes up the next morning with no reminiscence of the previous night. She's nevertheless wearing her dress, and she is about to go to faculty until Ethan tells her now not to go like that. He insists on her riding the bike to school, however she angrily reminds him that he never taught her how to ride. He spends the morning instructing her, earning applause from onlookers. Zoe later tearfully asks him why he's been away for a lengthy time. She thinks he has another household with another daughter. However, he assures her that is not the case. As they proceed to hang out, Zoe admits that she hit the female at school due to the fact she was hitting on Hugh. They stop up meeting Hugh as he is going to take Zoe to school. Ethan locates the accountant, Guido, Bruno Ricci, as he is escorted via the streets. Ethan shoots a tear gas grenade at the vehicle and takes Guido before blowing the van up. He takes Guido to his rental to exchange the briefcase with codes he had in the past, with codes set to trigger explosives that the Wolf and the Albino are in possession of. Zoe calls to inform Ethan that she is going to cook dinner for Hugh, and she needs to make a vegetarian dish. Ethan puts Guido on the telephone to tell Zoe about the spaghetti sauce recipe that his mother used. That evening, Ethan comes home to locate that Jules' daughter is going into labor. She gives start to a healthy infant girl, and she decides to name it after Ethan due to him permitting them to stay in his home. Jules says they are to depart as promised, but Ethan insists they can remain as long as they want. Jules says the household prefers a smaller home to remain closer to every other. Ethan goes back to Zoe's domestic and learns that Hugh asked her to prom, however she says she can't dance. Ethan decides to help her out, simply as Tina comes home. She watches them dance, bringing tears to her eyes. They have dinner as a family, and Tina tells Ethan later that he ought to tell Zoe about his circumstance sooner or later. They give up sleeping together. The subsequent morning, Vivi calls Ethan to tell him the Albino is staying at the Grand Hotel. Ethan heads there and spots the Wolf. The villains get an auto driven by using Mitat. Ethan chases after them, slamming into the car till he pushes them all over a footbridge. The wolf and the albino flee, and Ethan spares Mitat so he can return to his family. Ethan chases the villains into the subway, where he begins to get a nosebleed and he begins to experience dizzy. Before he can shoot the wolf, the albino drags a barely conscious Ethan towards the train tracks. He waits for the educate to come even as the wolf yells at him to kill Ethan. Ethan regains enough movement to push the albino in front of the educate just as it passes. He passes out and the wolf flees. He wakes up to see Vivi delivered him to her place. She reminds him of the wolf's escape, but tells him the consequences of his treatment grew to become out positive with the drug. Ethan, Zoe, and Tina go to meet with Hugh and his family. His father introduces Ethan to his enterprise partner. The wolf. They recognize every other and uneasily shake hands. Hugh's mother and father escort them all into a club. Tina eventually realizes that Ethan is working an assignment. She thinks he's been mendacity to her, but he assures her that he hasn't been lying. The wolf's guys shoot at Ethan, and he runs after them. He kills the goons before cornering the wolf in an elevator. He shoots the wires on the elevator, inflicting it to fall and crash to the bottom. Meanwhile, Hugh and Zoe find a personal room where they dance and share their first kiss. The wolf crawls out of the elevator, and Ethan finds him. He starts to evolve to feel vulnerable again, unable to shoot him. He drops the gun, which the wolf reaches for until Vivi comes in and pushes it to Ethan to end the job. Thinking about Tina and Zoe, he refuses and drops the gun. Vivi grabs it and shoots the wolf herself. Sometime later, Ethan is still staying with Zoe in a residence near a beach. He's placing up a Christmas tree, after thinking he wouldn't stay to see Christmas, and we hear him talking to Tina, pronouncing there have been bad days. However, they are still making an attempt to keep their relationship well. Tina arrives in person, and Ethan acknowledges to her that he hasn't usually been there for her and Zoe like he should have been. Zoe comes up to invite her mother and so Ethan can make them hot chocolate. Ethan goes into some other room while Tina and Zoe sit down together. She asks her mom if Ethan is going to stick around now. Meanwhile, Ethan finds a box with a massive syringe and a note from Vivi wishing him a Merry Christmas. She has given him the drug so he can proceed spending time with his family. In the distance, Vivi stands watching the household in their home.